Let's open up the meeting for the Sustainability Commission, Monday, January 27th, here at 7 o'clock at Town Hall, Room 24. As far as what we have on the agenda, you're all seated. We'll have a presentation by Mark Ryan, and then we'll go through our subcommittee reports after Mark's done. The only thing I wanted to point out to you that there's the Open Space and Recreation Plan Final Review, which will be Tuesday, February 4th at 7 o'clock at the Willett Room at the Civic Center. Those who want to, basically it's just making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. If there's any other last input for that, and then that'll be finalized. It's nothing, something we probably should be aware of, being a Sustainability Commission. I know some of you might have attended the meetings, the input sessions beforehand. It was, I think, over a year now. In the fall of 2018, they started to have the community input and all that. They've been writing the plan for the last year. So that, and it's just about ready to be released to, and everybody's, I don't know who has to approve it, but probably the selectmen, but I don't know if there's anything else that has to be done. Besides that, Mr. Ryan, you're ready to go? And
yeah, sure.
You can,
thank you, Peter. Just very informal, sit down. Thank you for having me. I'm Mark Ryan, Director of Public Works, Town Engineer, and I noticed two people, and I don't know anyone else, and this is so cool because I'm a lifelong resident of Norwood, and thank you for.
well, we can go around.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Joe, you can introduce yourself.
Joe Shimada.
Hey, Joe.
I'm Emily Shea.
Hi, Emily.
I'm Gloria Limba.
Hi, Gloria.
Mark Vidrani.
Hey, Mark.
John O'Crea.
John.
Peter McFarland.
Heather Miller.
Heather.
Brian Dunn.
Hey, Brian.
David Ruggiero.
David. Well, this is pretty good stuff because, I've been with Public Works Director since February of 2011, and when I took over, we had a former town manager, John Carroll, he was just so focused on recycling. That's all he cared about is, we got to get our recycling numbers up, and he was right, and he was the the person that brought forth our single stream recycling program. As a town manager, he can negotiate that by state statute, and he pretty much made that happen. And would it have happened without someone like him? Maybe not. I know neighboring Walpole doesn't do it. All right, if you drive through Walpole, you see, what Norwood used to be. You just throw out as much as you can, and they take it away. And so John was a big part of bringing everything, closer to the vest, that people had to start recognizing they just can't throw everything away, and the town picks it up and throws it away and pays for it. So you got to give a lot of credit to him. But things have changed since then. It's not just recycling. We all know the whole recycling figures that are out there, and we talk about reduce, reuse, and recycle. All right, every one of you know that. I don't have to explain it to you. But with the China sword policy, that's really crushed us as far as recycling. Any other town, they're paying more to get rid of the recycling than the solid waste, except in Norwood. Okay, so we have a 5-year contract with Waste Management. This is the third contract we've had with them. And the selectmen, particularly Tom Maloney and Alan Howard, sat there with Waste Management and said, we will never pay more for recycling than solid waste. And that seemed like, yeah, sure, that will never happen. Solid waste is always, $40, $50 a ton more than recycling, but the China sword just switched things around. So right now we pay $191 for solid waste to get rid of per ton, and we pay the same amount for recycling. But it's a calculation that it all has to do with commodity market for metals, for plastics, for paper. You know, each month varies. I mean, if we had to pay what the market is dictating, we'd be paying $210, $250 a ton. But thankfully, the selectmen worked that into the contract, and we pay $191. We're even right through the 5 years. Whatever we pay for solid waste, we pay for recycling, or no more. Recycling is no more. So if the market, for whatever crazy reason, recycling was a lot less, we would pay that number. So actually, Waste Management came to us when Tony Mizuko took over. So we're in the first year of the contract, and they wanted to renegotiate. They're in the first year of a contract. They want to renegotiate. It says, oh, we're getting crushed on this. This, you know, we really need to do something. And Tony's crazy says, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I've got schools I've got to take care of. I got roads to take care of, and I got a multi-billion-dollar company that wants to come here and say, geez, we messed up. So credit to Tony on that. So.
Sorry, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Does the amount affect that? Like, if for some reason the amount Norwood recycled went up significantly, would that affect the price, or is it stay?
So it's all per ton. It's
So
not
it
a
doesn't matter
percentage
if they
thing.
get more from us or whatever?
Right,
Okay.
right. So we budget for 8,600 tons of disposed material. 6,000 is solid waste, and then 2,600 is recycling. So that's been pretty consistent since we started this in October of 2008. You know, it varies a little bit here and there, but that's been pretty consistent
So 8,600 tons per year.
per year.
And you're a 5-year contract, what year of the contract are we in?
We're in the second. Come July of this year, we'll be in, start the third.
Thank you.
So, this whole China sort thing and everything, and people, you know, for the prior years have focused so much on recycling, you know, we really need to push people to focus on reducing or reusing, but reduce how much we throw away, right? Because it just costs us all. That's money that's being paid to Waste Management or whatever entity that could be better used. So, as I said, 8,600 tons a year. And if you just think about it, if we could all, you know, reduce our disposal, you know, be it solid waste or recyclables, I mean, 5% reduction, which is not very hard. I mean, that's an $82,000 savings per year, money that could be put to good use elsewhere. And then you go up to 15% if you get really aggressive, and if, you know, it's probably a pretty high goal, but it's $247,000 a year. So those numbers just show you if we can reduce how much we throw away, how much we ask Waste Management to haul away, we can save quite a bit of money. So back in September, I sat in front of the selectmen and I talked about, you know, what are the real easy ones that we can take care of? How can we all reduce how much we throw away? And one of them is junk mail. We all get junk mail. It's just overloaded. And, you know, estimates based on many EPA studies and DEP studies, based on percentages, population, we're probably spending $72,000 a year to get rid of junk mail. You know, mail that none of us asked for, unsolicited, you know, catalogs, you know, insurance. So, you know, on our website, we have a, you know, some information on where to contact, and we've been telling people, we've sent out flyers, you know, get rid of junk mail. This is what you do. You go on a website, you know, you opt out of a lot of things. Sometimes it might cost $1 to do it. And it's nominal, but it's significant, you know, to get rid of that. And I was talking to selectmen food waste. You know, up to 20% of what goes in the trash is actually food waste. People just, you know, they peel their banana and peel their orange or their pepper, and they just throw it in the trash. It's easy, you know, it's simple, but, you know, we're talking 1,100 tons a year, so we're getting rid of 6,000 tons of trash. You know, to 1,100, pretty close to it's gonna be food waste if we're not careful. So if you factor that, spending $191 a ton to get rid of solid waste, you're talking over $200,000. And I'll talk a little bit more about food waste later, but that's very significant, all of us making that effort. Textiles, we've got a lot of opportunities for people to get rid of textiles, but, studies have shown about 6% of the waste stream is textiles. That's $90,000 a year. That's being disposed of, and we gotta pay for the collection and disposal of it, and that's a lot of money. So just those three things, junk mail, food waste, textiles, is $362,000. That, are we gonna get to the zero number? That's very hard, but it just shows there are a lot of opportunities for us to take care of that. So textiles, like I said, we spent over $90,000 to get rid of textiles in Norwood, but we've provided a lot of opportunity for people. We've got 10 drop-off boxes through Bay State Textiles at all the schools and at the Winter Street Recycling Facility. And Norwood has really done a great job. We're just, they're collecting over 100,000 pounds of textiles each year. They take the good, the bad, and ugly, just as long as it's clean. They don't care if it's one shoe or a torn belt or a ripped shirt or whatever. They'll take it, because they'll take that product, and if they can't reuse it, if they can't sell it, they'll shred it, and it'll be used for insulation. It'll be used for carpet padding. It'll be reused. So it's a great opportunity to reduce how much we throw away. So we partnered with Bay State Textiles in October 2014, and since then we've collected over 508,000 pounds of textiles. So.
Mark, that's the pink bag program, right?
No, that's separate now.
Oh.
So, this is the first way to get rid of the textiles. So 508,000 pounds, and they give money back to the schools based on the poundage. So since 2014, they've given back to the schools $25,400 in reimbursement, but the town has saved over $47,000 in disposal costs. So the net gain to the town is $73,000 over, 5.5 years, which is, it's pretty good. Little by little, we've got to keep, pecking away at this. Peter's talking about simple recycling, the pink bags. Every day that you recycle pickup, you can put out the materials. Just like I said, they don't care if it's a great set of jeans or a pair of socks that match. They don't. They'll appreciate it because they'll resell it, but they just turn around and recycle it into a usable material. So that's your second option, and then the third option, we always recommend people to go to your local thrift store, and particularly in Norwood, the Women's Community Committee thrift store on Washington Street at Uller Ave. They do a great job. It's a great thrift store, and they give back to the community too. Whatever monies, not all the monies, but quite often they donate to certain programs. And I'll just throw out one of them, Aaron Giles Square across from the post office. They donated all the brickwork in there, the walkway through there. So if it's one group you can give a shout out to is the Women's Community Committee. They do a lot of great things. So that's textiles. Food scraps, I talked about 1,100 tons a year, over $200,000 a year that it costs us to get rid of food scraps that should not belong there. So Public Works started a program where we have drop-off boxes. One at the Public Works yard, it's pretty much 24/7. The other's at the Winter Street landfill, open Saturdays 8 to 10:30, and you drop off your food scraps. When the bucket fills up, and, this one at Public Works, we empty 3 times a week. We bring it up to the landfill, we throw it in the leaf pile, and it just breaks down with everything else, and it's worked out fabulously. And to help people, do that, Public Works has, we provide the opportunity to come by as a Norwood resident to buy compost bins. We have two types. One's people call the Darth Vader one, where you just throw it in and you dig out from the bottom, and a more elaborate one is a tumbler. And we provide that at significant savings to people, because we get a grant from the state each year, so we subsidize this cost. So we've got a tumbler that's probably worth $150 on the market, and we're selling for $50. It's terrific. Or the countertop, kitchen countertop compost pails. Where do you put your scraps? We have decorative ones. We got stainless steel, ceramic, and there's this bamboo one, and they're very attractive. And once again, they're $10. It costs you $30 if you bought it elsewhere. So we make that available to people to help them out on their composting, as well as biodegradable bags. We have these bags you put in your compost pails, and they actually work very well. If you don't empty it soon enough, they'll start breaking down, and you'll have a mess. So, but they work. They're great. And in fact, we partnered up with the company to get doggy bags too, and we gave it to the town clerk. And when people come in, get their dog license, they hand it off to them, because we all know you wrap it up in the old Shaw's bag and throw it in the trash. Well, that bag's not going to break down for a long time. But these biodegradable really work. So I talked about junk mail, going to the town website.
Work on the composting. How has the response been to either the at-home compost bins or dropping off? Do you have a sense of how many people are participating?
Yep, it comes in cycles as far as buying the big bins, because to some people $50 is a lot. There's been a great interest in the kitchen countertop pails. It's $10. It's a sharp-looking unit, but it's really cool seeing the people showing up here all day long to the DPW site. And these aren't, young people. These are older residents that get it. And it's really neat to see that.
They used to remember the garbage man.
Right.
Well, I grew up in the city, and we used to have the garbage man and the trash man.
Yeah.
And the garbage man would come by and with the pit, go in the backyard, pull the pail out of the ground, and dump it.
It all comes in cycles.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
I all remember
and
that.
throwing it away, and it makes no sense if you have an opportunity to put it somewhere. And we put it up in the leaf pile, and it gets cooked in there, and it turns into wonderful compost. So people have been really.
Do any of the local businesses participate on a larger scale or commercial scale?
They don't. It's all residential. Yeah. Gosh, I wish we had a bigger site up there, because that'd be a great opportunity to invite a lot of the businesses, and maybe there's an opportunity down the road, on the food waste, and but we are limited in space up there. Some towns, they have, it seems like endless amounts of area. So, but we're always looking, and we're always open to ideas, because
I know I use the one near the DPW, and it's pretty much full every time I go there. So I think people are using it. So if we do take initiatives to start promoting the compost, it might be even more frequently full or needing to be emptied more. So I really think that could take off a lot.
You tell us what else we can do to promote these things, and we'll give it every shot. But it's great. You guys are going to really help the cause. Yeah. So then, I talked about junk mail. Mercury, extremely toxic chemical. If you ever go up to the Winter Street recycling facility, we have a place you can drop off any products containing mercury. And I just wanted to throw that in there, because, there You know, it used to be you just throw your thermometer in the trash, you know, your button cell batteries, your fluorescent bulbs, but we have the opportunity for people to drop it off up there. And if they can't, they can give them out Public Works, but, so over the last 6 years, we've recovered 47 pounds of mercury, which might not sound a lot when you're talking
That's a lot.
8,000 tons of solid waste, but 47 pounds of mercury from Norwood alone did not make it into a landfill, which is, it's pretty significant. You know,
Considering
so-
the weight of a battery is less than a,
Yeah.
it's not even an ounce.
The
So,
amount of mercury is even less than that.
so, you know, back in September, I went in front of the selectmen talking about the extended producer responsibility policy, and, you know, the Mass Municipal Association back in 2019 passed a resolution which supports statewide product legislation that promotes circular economy, reduce excess packaging. We all know we order that little battery from Amazon and we get a big box, you know, now it's great for Amazon, you know, they can just ship it out, but it's up to us to get rid of it. It costs us. It costs us money. So this legislation, hopefully down the line, will help reduce those packaging. Eliminate single-use products. You know, how many times you open up something and the package is in, it can't be recycled, it just goes in the trash. All right, so designing products for, you know, durability and reusabilities, make them long-lasting, that's gonna be a tough one. Reduce the amount of disposable products. We all know how much is out there. We've become a disposable society. Then update the bottle bill law. So anyways, the selectmen voted to support urging Mass DEP and the Mass legislation to promote a circular economy. You know, just don't, you know, count on single-use products, and really require manufacturers to share in the responsibility of product waste management costs. And there'll be, if this ever passed, something would be put on the manufacturers and the shippers that, you know, what they're sending out, they've got to pay attention to it, or they're gonna some kind of fee or tax on it. And update the bottle bill laws. You know, maybe, I don't know if it was 5-6 years ago, the bottle bill was gonna be updated, and this was before China saw it, and most people didn't appreciate the whole thing. But we really gotta start thinking about all the bottles. I mean, my wife and I love wine. You know, it's a very dense product.
Well,
All
it's
right.
not- This is not a confessional here.
So, but, you know, it goes in the trash. I mean, it goes in recycling, but there's 5 cents or 10 cents.
Sure.
You know, it's, you know, so there's a lot of things out there that this updated bottle bill will take care of. Sports drinks, wine, spirits, nips, you know, trying to, because they say, you know, a bottle, or be it glass or plastic, if it's not part of the bottle bill, it's really not, maybe 20% of it will make it into the recycling.
Yeah.
Most of it get thrown away, but if you attach a bottle bill, you're upping it to about 80%. You know,
Yeah,
the chance for it
flips,
to making it back into that, you know, circular economy.
I mean, when the bottle bill first passed, we didn't have the single-use plastic water bottles. I mean, back then, it was just, it was a few, like Perrier was about the only bottled water that you saw.
Yeah.
And ever since then, you've seen the proliferation of single-use plastics for juice containers, you know, Gatorades, those type of sports drinks, and just plain tap water being bottled now that, you know, that wasn't covered on the original because it didn't exist. That's why it's, you know, and now trying to get it updated, you know, you got everybody saying it's the, you know, I don't want to pay another tax, and you know, it's not a tax if you, you know, we fund it, you know.
Mhm.
I have a certain word for that tax, but, you know. It's called a lazy something tax. But, so that, I mean, that's why the bottle bill needs to be expanded, because it didn't cover probably 3/4 of what's been used now for, you know, liquid containers, especially.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure you all been up to the Winter Street recycling facility. What do we do up there? You know, first started off 1998, and it was basically leaf bags and brush. And we still take leaves. We get about 2,500 cubic yards each year. We have a great composting program, and then, you know, people can stop by in the spring through, you know, fall and get free compost, and it's really good compost. But a lot of it we can't use because there's too much of it, so we sell it. We sell it to some of these local vendors that sell it to other, you know, a lot of these green gardens and everything. So, you know, we make $13,000 a year on compost, which is pretty cool. Brush, everyone brings their brush up. If you've been up there twice a year, there's this massive pile of brush. We bring in a contractor, he grinds it up, makes nice wood chips, and we'll send them away, and they'll make mulch. All we have to do is pay for the trucking, get rid of it. So that's reused, all right? So we're doing a pretty good job up there. Food scraps you can drop off, I talked about that. Styrofoam. So styrofoam's not allowed in single stream recycling just because the plant's not set up for that. So a lot of people just throw it in the trash, so we've given the opportunity for people to bring it up there, and they take advantage of it. And we have a company come by once a month, and they take it away, and they reintroduce it in the market. So it's not thrown into the landfill. It's reused at some point, so that's good. Wood furniture, you know, unfortunately, wood furniture is just ground up and used as waste at the facility up in Saugus that we bring stuff to. Metals, people bring metals by all the time. Could be a cane, it could be a dryer.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
we take it, we bring it up to Walpole, and they pay us per ton, whatever the market rate is for metals. So we don't make a lot of money, but we get some revenue from it. You go up there, single stream recycling. You know, we started the whole single stream recycling back in '08. You know, a lot of people were concerned they didn't have enough space, so you can bring it up there and dispose of it. And now we've got separate cardboard, because cardboard is a real commodity. That's one of the things that doesn't fluctuate, you know, have these ups and downs. It stays pretty high as far as value. And we have cardboard only boxes, and Waste Management you know, reimburses us for that, just based on those two 10-yard dumpsters. Rigid plastics, you know, plastic you would think is single stream. It isn't. You know, I'm talking the big wheels or the laundry basket or any of those, you know, plastic bookcases. We take that, we have to pay for it, but at least it's reintroduced into the whole system. It isn't thrown away. I talked about cardboard and mercury products. We also have mattress disposal. We were fortunate for a couple of years to have a grant from the state for free disposal of mattresses. We would just collect them, bring them up to this company in Lowell, and they break them down. They just cannibalize them. They take the fabric off and reuse it. They take the springs out, and you know, that's a metal that they can reuse or sell. And then they take the wood and they do a really nice job. So that ended 2 years ago. So we just pay for the disposable. At least we know they're being recirculated into the economy. We have drop off up there for books. You know, books are very dense. And, you know, it makes sense. Okay, I get a book, I throw it in the recycle. But you know, we have More Than Words, a nonprofit organization that will take the books, CDs, DVDs, and they'll reuse them. They'll put them back out there, so we're not throwing them in the waste stream to get rid of. And textiles I talked about. So finally, anyways, John Apria reached out to me. You know, the DEP has a Sustainable Materials Recovery Program, a grant program, and we apply every year. And you know, based on it's a rating system, how well we do as a community of providing options for residents, being proactive with things. We've been pretty successful as far as getting grants, and we take that grant money and we reintroduce it by, subsidizing the sale of the compost bins, or buying new, trash and recycling bins, or setting out the magnets that you put on your fridge. Those are all funded through that recovery program grant program. So, this past year we got $19,500, which is our highest in the last 4 years. We keep going up because we keep doing more. Because each year we add a little program, we get an additional point, and that means additional money. So,
The name of that program again, please?
Sustainable Materials Recovery Program, SMRP is how they refer to it. Mass DEP runs that.
Thank you.
And then just recently, we received a grant for $6,000 towards the purchase of a swap shop shed at the landfill.
Oh, goody.
So, so I'd love to partner with people to try to get that going. I think it's well worth it. The challenging part, you gotta have volunteers. We're open every Saturday, 8 to 1:30. But, if you have ideas or thoughts about that, that'd be great, because Public Works would love to put that up there as well. $6,000 is a good start, and we could fund a lot of the other things that go along with it to make it successsul.
So it's an actual shed, did you say, or just $6,000
$6,000 towards the shed. So,
towards a shed? Okay.
So all I have to do is show them the invoice that we bought something, and they'll reimburse us
How big of a
$6,000.
shed would you get for $6,000? I mean, you could get any one. I mean, use it.
You could
as
get
a- you could use it for
Good
anything.
one, but, I think that's just a nice seed. I mean, Public Works, we have a budget up there for the landfill. We would definitely put more towards that, because we don't want to make it, we want to make it, a real thing.
Mhm.
We've been thinking about some kind of canopy to keep, in the summer, the sun off everything, or the rain, or
And snow during the winter.
the snow in the winter, but it's something we would love to partner with this group, if this is something you'd love to take on. But that's one of those things they're looking in that grant program, those initiatives by, towns to, make things available for the community, so. That's it.
We have a couple of questions for you, Mike.
Yeah,
Contamination, recycling, that's
Mhm.
usually the biggest issue right now, as far as, you're getting, well, food waste in with recycling,
Mhm.
or not properly rinsed material, something that's supposed to can, or a bottle that's supposed to be rinsed, that's,
Yep.
caked with food, or something like that. What, you're seeing, what, numbers about 15-20% contamination?
so about a year ago, we did an audit, and we would follow the truck around all day and then go to the plant. So you would go to the plant in Avon, Mass, and they would dump out, and the, large front-end loader comes in, scoops up, a sample, right, puts it in a dumpster, they bring it in, they dump it out, and they just pick through it. That's how they determine
Mhm.
during the audit,
Oh.
And now, they had their bad days, but for the most part, now it's not too bad.
Okay.
All right, you have your days that, and so there'll be another charge to the town when they see a load come in that's overly contaminated. They'll notify us, and what we do is typically, okay, that's Monday, all right? These are the streets, and we send out a little notice to the people, just FYI, contamination was very high in your area, we'll give them tips on how to, do better. And so, by contract, we're allowed up to 10%. for the most part, we do pretty well. And they say that, the guys at the plant say Norwood does pretty well.
If,
Could be a point of emphasis though, as far as
Keep-
always.
Always keep pushing it.
Pushing it, yeah.
what, I mean, you gave us the numbers at the beginning of like, that there's a lot of things that can be done, like in, this may be hard, but in your opinion, what's like the barrier for people to like, to do more, or to compost, or to recycle? Like, what's that thing you think is holding people back?
Well, composting, people, they don't wanna have a lot of people are concerned in their backyard having a compost because they think raccoons are gonna show up, or it's hard labor. So that's why we made these drop-off facilities, to make it easier for them,
Yeah.
and they're taking advantage of that. As far as some of the other ones, it's just a reminder, it's so easy, junk mail, to opt out. People just we gotta keep reminding them, there's an opportunity to reduce that. Textiles, I mean, town does a pretty good job of, promoting the different drop-off boxes and the pink bags, and so what is the barrier? It's just people, they're gonna
Changing behavior.
change the behavior. We've grown up, a lot of us have grown up, myself and Peter, and, it's just
We
throw
might
it
be
away.
older than the rest of the
Throw it
crowd,
away.
I think.
You know,
So along those lines, can you say a little bit about direct costs that residents see? Because I think I've heard you say before, like if a household can come and pay a one-time fee and get an extra bin, and then they can essentially throw out twice as much trash as everyone else, and they're not paying any more to do that. Is that correct?
unfortunately, it's
Okay.
correct.
So-
That needs to change.
Yeah, so everyone gets a recycling bin and a trash bin one for free, is that right?
Yes, and you get a recycle bin for free as well, if you wanted a second one.
So you can get 2 recycle bins.
Yeah, you can get a yellow.
Yeah,
another
but it's the
yellow.
trash one that, so you can imagine in 2008, when people all started to be told that your trash has to fit in a 64-gallon cart. I mean, it was pretty wild,
Oh, yeah.
all right, and
Marge
People say-
McKenna wheeled down the barrel of town meeting, remember?
right, right?
Yeah.
And
In opposition?
people,
No.
to be successful, the decision was made that if someone really didn't think they could do it with a 64-gallon cart, they could get another one for $80, and that's a one-time fee. And, we got 8,600 stops. Might have 200 out there.
Once you told me how to pay for it, they went, yeah, that kind of.
I'll make it work.
So
Yeah, I know.
$80.
I wouldn't throw that much away.
it's still those $80 one-time
One time.
fee,
Yeah.
and then you've got 2
One time,
bins.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure you have your friends or neighbors. I mean, we have a neighbor, 4 children, 2 dogs, 2 adults. 1 trash bin is fine for them.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, you never see that lit up.
Yeah.
All right, if you make the effort,
Especially with weekly pickup.
Yeah.
It's not like people
Yeah.
have to hold
No
on to it
trash.
for
No.
very long.
no, so,
I mean, 2 people would barely get the 2 trip. Inside of our trash can is usually maybe 2 bags of trash,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's not, the size of the household depends
So
on a
just
lot.
in terms of thinking about potential ways to encourage reduction, if people started to see more direct cost impacts as a result of what they were throwing away, that seems like that might
Mhm.
motivate them.
Absolutely.
Well, the recycling rates usually go higher when you have a pay per paper throw
Yes.
community. But since we went to single stream, that decision was made just, it's hard. The only thing we can only do now is go to a flat rate charge, like so much per household but it doesn't really affect anything as far as like if we pay $150 a year for trash and I throw 1-2 bags of trash to get, and somebody else has got, 10 bags of trash going out, I'm subsidizing them.
Right,
If
so
you have
that's what
if you
I'm-
have a pay for throw with the way we have it set up with mechanized pickup, I mean, that was a big thing too when we, I was on the recycling committee and we did the marketing for the, October 2008 when we went to single stream. We had to come up with a letter to the neighbors, the residents and all that. And, I mean, that was the selling points on it as far as, mechanized pickup. The biggest problem with trash pickup was that the workman's comp, waste management workman comp was tremendous, because guys would be, being hurt all the time, so that kind of helped us in negotiating. When you go to mechanized pickup, the guy's just going, gets yam and he throws it in the truck. Before it was a guy trying to pick up, okay, this bag's 2 pounds. The next one he picks up is, 50 pounds and, out goes the back and he's gone for 3 weeks. And
But technically, there's no reason we couldn't do some kind of pay-as-you-throw system, right?
well,
I'm not running for office. So.
I'm not talking about like public opinion, but just in terms of it being a program that could be implemented under our current contract.
Oh, it has nothing to do with it.
The current way that we manage our waste.
Right, we just
essentially.
pay by the ton, so.
Has there ever been any kind of cost benefit look at a municipally sponsored compost program to take the compost out of the trash? So this weight that we're paying for our trash, you're paying for, banana peels, rotten apple. Organics are going to be heavier most likely than other trash bins, like the film and other things that can't go in recycling. So I mean, I think of my own household, we do tons of recycling, but we get 1 bag of trash per week for 2 adults and a kid and a dog. And a lot of that is like every day is like that coffee filter and coffee grinds and stuff like that. And I know, and I just took my trash out a little while ago, and that's heavy as heck.
Right.
So
It's dense.
is there like if we get a town-wide thing where it's like, okay, well, the town taxes will pay for that, but if the town-wide compost rate lowers the trash rate, so there's some sort of savings in that, where you're just throwing away unrecyclable, unusable trash, for composting, we're saving money. I'm just spitballing that. I mean, if there's any
Has there been
merit to that.
analysis? No, but I'm sure you've probably seen there's some communities that provide that curbside pickup.
Mhm.
I mean, it's an added cost. I don't know what the cost benefit is, but it's one of those things that makes the most sense, though, to get it somewhere where it's going to be used again, as far
Right.
as compost, like you said. No, it hasn't been done.
Worth checking out.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know Brian was saying something, we spoke last week, and there's that one they're starting with at the schools, right? Or
Yeah,
Zavarian.
the Black Earth.
We have
Yeah.
curbside pickup subscription service
But that's
Yeah.
in
correct.
Norwood, but
you're-
it's
but you're
individual
paying.
household. Yeah,
Right.
we pay for it.
But I'm sure there's
Out
some,
of pocket, yeah.
hopefully, I mean, there could potentially be a fantastic contractual rate for 8,600 stops in a
Mhm.
town,
Mhm.
to pick up compost, and then trash waste tonnage goes down, organics goes up.
And I feel like at the very least, it could be, just think about the education piece of it, like the numbers you were giving us at the beginning, like to show if the town were to able to have this much less tons being taken, it's gonna save this money, which can go to, like if we could trace where that money that has been saved, like that's gone to this part of the town or this part, like so
Yeah.
people see it, like this is how it's helping back if I just make these little changes.
Well, the rationale between, since it's included in the tax rate, it's the only expense that town residents control.
Yeah.
Because how much you throw away is how much we pay on the other end. And that
Yeah.
goes into your, that's part of the tax. And right now, we're 1.9 million
Pretty
roughly
close,
between
yeah.
recycling
Yep.
and just under 2. It's just under 2 for both recycling
Right.
and trash pickup. So it's almost $2 million we're spending a year for moving trash, waste, solid waste, some way or the other, as recycling or as, trash going to a landfill. So, that's $2 million. And, Mark, we started talking about it earlier, a 10% reduction in the cost is $200,000.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can move that somehow from, out of the waste stream, there's savings. I mean,
Even if
and
it's
they're
a
talking,
one-to-one.
we just went through an override, and, I mean, basically put, that's 3 teachers.
Yeah.
That's, you know, 3 teachers, 3 police officers, or how you wanna count it, you know, 3 firefighters. I mean, that's the type of money you're talking about. You know, as far as that goes. You
Would that
know.
also, something like that also help with negotiations in 2 years with waste management? If we actually have like shown that we've reduced our waste, would that be, or would they compensate it somehow? Or they're just gonna do whatever their rate is?
Yeah, they're in the business to
Right.
make money, and they'd probably frown upon.
Yeah, they'd probably be disappointed.
But, I mean, that's gonna be, it's gonna be quite a battle. I mean, it's still 3 years away, well, 2.5 years away, we're gonna renegotiate, and, you know, they've been taking a big hit on this contract, and I think we did pretty well in the last contract, so we gotta think of ways to reduce how much we throw away, because they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be charging a premium to get rid of it. And
Well, there's another RE that we didn't mention here, it's refuse. Refuse to take the bag, refuse to take the box and things like that, you know, and so you're not having to recycle it or reuse it or something like that. It's getting to the point, you know, you get one thing, you need a bag, you know, things like that. So you refuse to get into that, you know, that mindset of, you know, oh, now I have to get rid of it because I brought it home with me, you know, as far as that goes too. So, I mean, you think of that other part as far, first refuse it, then you don't have to deal with it when you at your house. You know, the business is gonna handle that, or they save money because they get one more bag for the next person, you know, as far as that goes. You know,
So if we're, sorry, can I just ask a question? If we're spending under 2 million right now, do you have a sense of what that cost is in other similarly situated communities? Like how much more they're spending that we could be spending in a few years if we don't?
well, they're
drastically
probably
reduce it?
spending, so we're, our community, 2,600 tons times probably $20 more a ton easily, so, you know, whatever that works out to. I stopped doing math in my head one time. I get myself in trouble.
as I said, I
Just for
gave
some
up
kind of
guessing.
reference to think
Yeah.
about, like what we will be
52,000
looking at in a few years.
52,000 more.
So, you know, there's another 50,000 that
Yeah.
we're benefiting for the year of having a reasonable number. But the bottom line, we gotta figure out ways to reduce, and, you know, that, you know, when Norwood, prior to single stream, people could throw everything out. And then the 64-gallon cart made people really think what they would throw out. So that reduced how much you threw away. And, you know, that's kind of mindset we gotta start thinking about. Do we, you know, you were talking about carts, Heather, about, you know, Sharon, you know, if you're a big family, you can get a 64-gallon cart. But if you're, you know, a husband and wife, you can get a 30-gallon cart and you pay a lot less per year. You know, and so it's a little more reasonable and equitable that, you know, they have a pay-as-you-go type system, but we're gonna have to head towards that. You know, somehow we have to force people to recognize they can't just throw everything away.
Mark, you mentioned there's 2 spots for dropping off
Mhm.
compost, Winter Street facility and the DPW.
And Public Works, yep.
And you mentioned it was very successful so far.
Yeah.
Any interest in expanding and having more drop-off locations around town?
If you think it should be, John, I'd be very open to it.
Right on the street, that'd be a good spot. Well, the problem is it's controlling it too. I mean, well, remember when
It is.
we had the paper recycling bins, the Abitibi,
Yep.
you know, and they were around, and then there was a lot of problem with those when they were out there and the contamination, people be throwing everything else in there, and not
Mhm.
just, be throwing the trash bags in there with, you know, basically was either, you know, some type of paper. You know, you used, throw your newspapers and stuff like that. There used to be a bunch of those around. Now, I mean, St. Catherine's used to have like 4 or 5 of them. I think they're gone now too.
Mm.
That used to be a big thing back 10 so years ago.
Right.
You used to be able to divert your, and same thing, the organization that sponsored the bin would get so much money back, you know, wasn't a lot of money, but they get money back for recycled paper. You know, they get paid by pounds of, you know, what they picked up. But then with, you know, I think Joe McDonough was the
He was, yeah.
grounds, charge of grounds to the school, and he said, this is a mess. You know, he had them out all the schools at one time, and it just became, that's the issue about putting it out everywhere.
It is, it is.
Is control on how people react to it, you know.
The contamination audit that you did last year, what's the frequency of those? When's the next time you think you'll be doing one?
My guess is probably this coming year, Waste Management will want to, you know, check in on it again, because, you know, they're very concerned, not about
Yeah, sure.
our contamination, but how to recover some money.
Yeah.
You know,
Charge a little bit more.
I think that'll be a great opportunity for this group to partner with the DPW in that process. Because last I remember, it was like broken down by district, where you can see the contamination rate by district.
It was. Yeah.
Right, so it wasn't all 12 or 15%. It was somewhere actually a lot higher and somewhere
Yes.
a lot lower. You know, sort of focus in those areas that are higher contamination rate and drive those down.
Mhm.
Excuse me. One of the things that, you know, we're working on is figuring out which metrics we can actually measure and manage,
Mhm.
and that would be an excellent one year after year after year as we work it into our sustainability plan and stuff like that.
We could ask them to do another audit. You know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's good public outreach. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not-
Well, contamination adds weight in the end, no matter if it's peanut butter, if it's, you know, anything like that. I mean, if it's in the plastic, if it's in the containers and everything, it adds weight, which is gonna be an extra
Mhm.
charge for us, because at the end, Waste Management bales it up and sells it to somebody who's gonna grind it up and clean it,
Mhm.
and they erase that weight. So someone way down the line is paying for that weight, we're paying for that weight, and if contamination reduction helps at least a little bit, and
It does.
this is something, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I remember going back 10 years ago, what was recycled then, and what's recyclable now. There's some things that are, like the clamshell containers and things like that, there's some confusion about certain things. As far as, you know, is it or isn't, styrofoam was always that one, because, and then some of the containers, they have that recycling seal on it, but they're not really recyclable, some
Yeah, it's number
containers.
6, right? Polystyrene, which is styrofoam.
Yeah,
So you don't want that in there. So clamshells, it's just like, don't even bother, just throw them away. It's one of those, when in doubt,
yeah.
because they're probably not recyclable. They get polystyrene in it, and they don't want that.
Mhm. Okay. Well,
And that gets into, you know, the education on restaurants, you know, maybe a more of a fiber type product.
Yeah. We talked about like at different events that Norwood has, like Norwood Day and different things. We wondered if it was possible to encourage the vendors there to have those compostable fiber-based things, and then would the town be able to offer composting? So instead of just making a ton of trash at the event, there's a lot of like food waste, so if the vendors have those compostable containers, we could make a lot of compost and a lot less trash. Is that something that would be
We'd be
doable?
open to it.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
all right.
yeah.
It would be good, not only reducing trash costs, but it's good education opportunity.
It's great education.
So,
we find a lot of the education is have the kids do it, and they teach the parents.
Teach the
what
parents,
has to be done,
right.
because parents don't, you know, there's not that they're not interested, a lot of it is it's not on their radar.
Mhm.
And the kids get told about it, and I said, you can't do that, and then they start realizing, the kids educate the parents sometimes on these things as far as what is and what isn't good, you know, as far as, you know, acceptable for recycling and not recycled.
Mhm.
Let's also lead by example. To see that the town's doing it, people might be more inclined to do is, oh, look at the, you know, we're taking this, they're taking the sustainability plan and the committee and the program seriously by doing this. You know, maybe we should.
Yeah,
Well, unless anything else, we can let,
well, let me know, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, thank
The website, we have stuff that, you know, we look for ideas and reach
Yeah.
out to us, and This is
Especially,
great.
it's something, you know, we're in the middle of writing our plan, and hopefully we'll have it ready for the annual town meeting in May. So if there's anything you want to pass along to us, we'd be appreciative to it too, so, yeah.
so Mark Ryan did not encourage a trash fee, right? That's
No, we have it down
Mark,
there.
I said it's a good idea.
Thank you, Mark.
You require
Yeah.
it.
Mark.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll be the bad guy, I don't care.
Joe, could you press reset screen share on the... There you go. Thanks.
Okay. Now, since it's almost 8 o'clock, just before we go to the subcommittee report, I'll just take this out of order. You know, you all saw the flyer, the presentation. Our good friend John over here, you know, volunteered this for, one of the
that
topics.
far, but
Oh, yeah, but, so, I accepted the invitation. Basically, it's the week before town meeting. I think we could, you know, help us with a little input on doing our own presentation for town meeting. Our presentation to the sustainability, Together Yes, and Progress Norwood, can be a little bit more detailed than what we'll probably do for town meeting, but it's just kind of good dry run type of thing where.
Yeah. And we also had the idea with the education of, which we'll get to, but the Earth Day celebration is April 26th, the Progress Norwood did, of like also like launching a campaign there, like, which if you all approve is what kind of what we'll do. So then we could follow up. That'd be a perfect time on May 7th to kind of talk, like to reiterate the campaign in another way and kind of what we're asking the town to do.
I think we can use it for, you know, building our, you know, our presentation, our talk and all that.
Yeah.
So, you know, and plus, I won't
I
jump.
think it's a
too
great
much.
idea for Earth Day. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome campaign.
Cool.
Yeah. Alrighty, we want to talk about which group wants to go first?
I know Brian had a hard
Oh,
stop.
Brian, yeah,
Yeah.
Brian's gonna be out at 8:30. Why don't you,
So-
Brian?
Yeah, so the education committee, so Emily, Joe, Mark, and I got together a few times over the past month and kind of were trying to come around different ideas of what exactly we want to get out there and what we can do and all that. So the first thing is the slides, and this isn't done yet, but with the idea of on sometime in February of doing like an info session with the town, and we'll ask you about your thoughts on that a little bit, but at least to talk you through this. So what we're looking for from the group here is just ideas of like if there's things that are missing, things that you would add, anything. So at the beginning, it's just going to be some facts about climate change. I don't know if you want to talk about them or.
Yeah. I mean, I just put them together. The slides, they just didn't make it into that presentation.
Yeah.
But
This one's from you.
Yeah, that one's from me. That was something we did at work. But
That's neat.
well, we stole it, but we used it in our campaign at work.
Yeah.
But no, we started with sort of where it began, because when we were launching this, we launched on Earth Day as well last year, and so we started with what created Earth Day. And when you start talking about the millions upon millions of people who protested on a single day in 1970, that essentially created the EPA, and it created change. But all of that change is what is looking at past regulations, past problems, hazardous waste, clean water, all that sort of stuff. What sustainability does is looks forward. And so then in the next couple slides, we go into just some pictures and things like that, and it goes through the effects of seen today. We talk about global warming, the facts of, there are facts out there about, the reason that we have Category 5 hurricane every year. It's because the average water temperature in the Gulf of Mexico is 4 degrees warmer than it's ever been. It goes into vector-borne disease and some other things. And so there's a few slides on that. I don't want to go into all of them, but it just covers those types of things.
Yeah. And then the next part we thought was, instead of just keeping it all depressing, is talking about some successes.
Yeah,
so,
right.
The ozone layer, the idea, talking about the story of cooperation, how the Montreal Protocol was when countries decided to do something, but it also really was because it was individuals making a conscious choice. So it was everything from governments to MTV to everybody making that choice to change and speaking with their dollar of not supporting companies who didn't do this. And the companies listened to what consumers demanded, and the bottom one is the most recent, where it's healing. It's not fully healed, but it's definitely on the way. The other one, which was from Mark as well, is the Boston Harbor cleanup. How the Massachusetts Water Resource Authority was formed by the EPA to combat it. the largest public works, and what was done about it. So basically, this part's saying that people can make a change, like that idea that it's too big for one person or it's too big for one town is not true. That if we all kind of make little changes, try to do something, that we can have an impact on it. And then we thought it'd be important to look at what's being done in the towns around us. So we'll quickly talk about like what Brookline's doing, Lexington. I'm not going to read all this, you get the idea. And then Belmont, with the idea being that each town does what's uniquely suited for them. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's not everybody has to do the same thing. It's what those residents and what those towns feel like they can do to have an impact on the environment and have an impact on their own community. So then the whys we thought would be important to talk about. So the idea of sustainability, we talk about what that means in the context of today, and that there's those three aspects to it. So it has a social impact, a social quality, obviously, an improvement, and an economic one, environmental. And that's the idea of this commission, is not to just focus on an environmental thing or just not a social, but all three of those pillars are hit. And then this one, again, the green community, I didn't know if we wanted to add more, but just the fact that if you look down here, it's like we're one of the only towns really that hasn't been designated. And the reasons why this commission was formed is so we get the grants and technical assistance. I didn't know if we wanted to go into the MVP. We'd thrown around that idea. So that's why there's question marks here. Like, do we need other reasons why, or is that enough? And then the final thing is this idea, which when we were talking, we kept coming back to. And Emily, I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah,
do it,
so
or do you want
this
me
is
to?
the campaign we were talking about. So we wanted to come up with a campaign to get everyone in Norwood involved in sustainability. And so we came up with the idea, and we call it One New Thing. And the idea is that whether you're someone who's really just learning about sustainability and that there's a problem with the environment, or whether you're somebody who already does a lot, the idea is to add one new thing to what you do to make Norwood more sustainable, to make your everyday life more sustainable.
Yeah.
So.
And the one idea was like, because I think originally we had do one thing.
Yes.
Which like gave the impression that people weren't doing something. But we
Do
can,
something.
Yeah. But we can, like, as Emily was saying, like we can remind people, like even if you think you're not doing stuff, like just by using that recycling bin, you're already doing something. Like you're already doing this. So I think.
Right,
like, as
right.
Emily
So
said,
nobody's
there's a
off the
build-up.
hook, right? One new
Yeah.
thing for
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah, exactly.
I can see that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just breaking it down for people, we said the first step was pick the one new thing you can do to help the environment. And so when we talk about it to people, we'll give them some ideas, like they can start composting at home, so it's a good opportunity to educate people on composting. Bring a reusable cup with you when you go out to get coffee. You can walk, ride your bike, or carpool. Another idea is eating plant-based foods 1 day a week. So whatever it is you want to do, pick your one new thing as part of the campaign. And then step 2 is to spread the word about the one new thing that you're doing. So you can talk to your friends and family about what you're doing, tell them to join the movement, and for people, and we talked about asking your favorite local business to join. So you could go to your favorite restaurant and say, hey, Norwood's doing this one new thing. Can you guys come up with one new thing? I'd love to see it. So you can ask your favorite local business to join in. And then for those people who are using social media, we came up with the hashtag One New Thing Norwood. So whether you're on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, wherever you are, take a picture of whatever it is you decided to do and share it with people using this hashtag, so people can click the hashtag and they'll be able to see what everyone's doing in one place.
I can tell Tony Mizuko about that. He loves his social media posts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could.
Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Put something about reusable bags as one of some of those ideas, because that's kind of like the one that's percolated to the top.
Yeah.
And I would just put that in there, add a fifth one. But I put
Sure.
that up there because that's a hot topic, and you just want to,
Yeah.
put that one right on the top.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I mean, this list is
Yeah.
endless,
I
but
know.
that is a good one.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things, especially when we're doing the presentations in February, it could be asking what people do already, like people in the room, like, what do you do? Oh yeah, that's could be one
yeah.
thing. And with the idea that
We got
whether it's
Post-it
6
notes.
months or a year from now, we do something like, okay, now you have that as part of your thing. What's like do another thing? It's basically gonna
Right,
be
right.
like just keep adding to your habits. And then we'll ask people for their feedback. This still has to be cleaned up, but like, what still concerns people if they have any? Because part of the purpose of this February meetings is to still allow residents to feel like if they want to voice any concerns or things that they want addressed, that they can bring that to us and it'll be in the plan. So we don't want to feel like we're just telling them what to do the whole time, but that there's still some room for feedback or if stuff isn't clear. And again, it'll help give us, hopefully make sure that we tailor this then for that May, or for the April 26th and May 27th, May 7th
Sure.
things. So feedback
Good.
from you all?
I would definitely add MVP personally.
Yeah.
Because we already are designated as an MVP community, and in our resilience subcommittee, we've been talking about that's a really important source of potential funding for the
Okay.
town. That, you know,
And
in
the-
theory is already available to us.
In the green community, we have applied, right?
Yeah, we've submitted our application.
Yeah.
Should be.
We
I
could,
think
we
we're
could know
next
by,
soon.
we might know by town meeting.
Oh, yeah, I would be,
Yeah.
I would be shocked. No, we'll actually know by then and should have funding by then.
Okay, so,
So you.
so that would go under more of like what's already being done would be we're an MVP community,
Yeah.
green community.
Well,
But
you-
then, is there any other reasons why we should do it besides this then?
Well, the things, you might want to say what, what we're doing, maybe as much as what has been done.
Okay.
And just saying, okay, we are an MVP community, and, we are a green community, by that time
Yeah.
it might be, and
We
things like
apply.
that. And, these are things that, I don't know if they can actually read what other towns are. Some of them maybe have been, green communities and not on their radar anymore. It's old
Yeah.
hat to them, so they might not be talking about it as much. Because some of those communities have been doing it for, 10 years. So, these other things, all right, we've been a green community for 10 years, what's new being a green community that you haven't done, or,
Yeah.
things like that. But that's not relevant, but as far as, just the list of things we are doing and what's ongoing.
Yeah, well, so we,
Yeah,
yeah.
what
I
we're
can
do- yeah,
work
we
on
should-
that.
What
We'll
other
add
kind of
those slides,
what other
yeah.
kind of things can we? Because, or if I think one thing we did talk about as far as like is incentives and motivation for the community and the town as like a group collective to get these grants. Now to say that we were already qualified as one and we've already applied for another, then
Yeah, it's like,
you know,
why are we
then
doing
where's
it?
that? I don't know. Where's that financial incentive that maybe would help motivate people more?
Well, at
Yeah.
least with the MVP, I mean, the fact that we're designated doesn't guarantee us any money.
Right.
So we have to still be
Yeah.
doing the work to be able to apply for the grants and receive
Yeah.
the grants.
Right. Well, see that's
So-
yeah, no, I
Maybe-
understand that, but like, are we missing something?
Maybe I was thinking as
with
Mark
something else
was
we can-
talking, like we could put in some of that stuff, like
Yeah.
we've already saved this amount of money.
Right.
That's gone back,
exactly.
but if we can do something, then you can save this much, like trying to make that connection in here.
You might want to go back and, things we have done. I mean, we have done single stream recycling 10 years ago. Some communities haven't, like Mark was saying. So some of the things, like, like we're just saying about being a green community, I've been a green community, but we've been a recycling community for 12 years now, so some of these things are taken for granted. And I think maybe, it's maybe a point of emphasis, one of the bullet points on there,
Yeah.
things that were done, just so people don't think we haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And kind of like try to list of the, things as far as, food waste composting,
Peter, to your point, so much of what Mark said today would be great on
Yeah.
a slide.
Yeah.
He had some
Right.
great. So we'll add a slide, right, that says like textiles, composting. Bring your mercury, bring your styrofoam. We'll add like a more
Yeah.
education slide.
Yeah. And
So
two-
I completely agree.
Chu has his waste days a year. I mean, that's, a big deal too.
And here's how much money the town can save.
Yeah,
If we
we've saved this much, but here's how much more if we can,
Yeah, I mean, so we are doing a lot. It's just, this is a great first pass.
Yeah, yeah,
We
capture it.
just kind of like,
No, it's good
we gotta,
feedback.
we just, we've seen what's on top, now we gotta go down and dig into some things too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
how
What
long
are we
of a, how long of a
currently doing?
presentation are we looking to have this at, though, right? That's
Yeah,
one of
that's the
things
other
that was the
Well,
other
town
part that we talked
meeting,
about.
town meeting is gonna be.
Well, no, this is, we were
Everything
making this
community
for,
things.
Who's the
Town
audience?
hall.
Is it town residents or is
Yes.
it town?
so this is
staff?
gonna be town residents,
Residents.
Yeah, so we had that.
and then we'll do the select board sometime in April probably.
Okay.
But this is just for the ones the end of,
This is just.
The big one
who's
will be
interested
Earth
in,
Day.
yeah.
The big one will be Earth Day.
And then Earth Day, we were thinking, when that happens, like we'd have a table, we'd have like people able to like sign pledges like you do, say like I pledge to do my
One new
one new
thing.
thing's gonna be
What's
this.
my one new thing?
Yeah, and then take pictures and like put it up and all that stuff, so,
The old picture frame.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
we
a
talked
good one.
about maybe a raffle. I don't know if we have any budget, but like giving away like reusable cups or something if you use the hashtag or something. I don't know, just something to get people to.
You can
Get
probably
it started.
Composting bin.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
just go raid the DPW. Yeah, for me.
I think we get one of those.
I think Mark
Yeah.
would donate one.
Yeah.
Compost.
Yeah.
15.
As far
This
as
is
that
I just want to say this is a great job.
I love
Everyone
this one
involved
new
in this
thing.
subcommittee. You guys are way ahead of our subcommittee. But no, I think it's an excellent
Just stole a bunch of
presentation.
slides from Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just I was wondering if it's worthwhile just to put on some information about our group. Right?
Yeah,
So, you know, who
I
we
think we-
are and our goals and our mission statement, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we are going to be. What's that?
I know, because
We are-
But
Input,
I think
yeah.
the question is important though. Like, what do we think we have for my captive audience? Like, are we gonna get 30 minutes? Or are we gonna get 10?
I think 10.
Because if you're gonna get 10 minutes, like
when you, the first, I can
quick.
tell you the first
It's quick.
community one, it's gonna be people that are interested in this. So you'll be kind of a singing to a choir type of audience.
Yeah.
For the people coming to the public input. It's Earth Day, you'll be inquisitive people.
Both, yeah.
And then the sustainability, that's kind of people that are into it more. But at Earth Day will be the one, like, you'll get wild cards there. You won't have, you know.
Yeah.
At
I
least-
think
And
I think
at
our
the
first
high school.
because our
Yeah,
first
so that
meeting,
was-
we talked about all these things and we're like, we'll be there for half an hour just
Yeah,
talking to people,
yeah.
and then we're gonna lose their interest. And, right now, and that's where you have to, it's delicate, yeah, right?
Well, I think,
Yeah.
that when you get the public coming up to you, you talk about one new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you have the other stuff there.
Yeah.
I mean, you just hit them with that and says, do you recycle? How about trying it? You know,
And by
I
the
mean,
way-
it's just like that. If you
By
do
the way,
recycle.
we will talk to them, not just you. All of us will be there.
Oh, no, but I'm just saying, somebody walks
Yeah,
up to you,
right,
you're
right.
just gonna
Yeah.
say,
Right.
you know,
Oh, yeah,
what are
yeah.
you doing? You know, as far as that goes. And they'll ask you, can I do this or can I do that? And you can say, sure. No.
I mean, we did develop, I have a preliminary survey for town
Yeah, that was
residents for
gonna
each
be
meeting and everything like that. So, short enough to where people hopefully aren't, burdened by it, but it's just enough, data points to get it, demographics, recycling habits, and what's important to them
Yeah.
on a Likert scale.
Because the other thing that we were talking about is we want metrics of some way to measure all this, like so
Yeah.
that hopefully next year we can say we've improved this much by doing one new thing. The town has saved this, whatever that is. And so we wanted a survey.
We need a
We
baseline.
talked about a survey to get a baseline of like what people are doing now, what are they interested in. So like if they say, oh, I think the town should do this, next year we could say the town has implemented this, which 80% of you were looking at. Like I was watching with one of my classes a documentary where it was about a whole waste management system in Delhi, and the stat that every kid like gasped at was like what they're doing is like taking every car in the city of Delhi off the road for 100 days. And like when you think about like a New York City, like having no cars for 100 days, like that's a powerful image. So like if we could have something where we could boil everything down to one metric that everybody could wrap their head around, whatever that is. But in order to do that, we need a baseline or
But
somewhere
also
to start.
give citizen feedback, like, right to us, so if there's something that we're missing, they can say, there'll be a write-in to say, oh, well, something. I've seen sample, data collections from other surveys, and there's just like a huge giant page of write-in stuff, which, some stuff we don't need, some things that would look kind of interesting to explore. So at least it'll be more, hopefully the feedback we get is gonna be tailored to Norwood, which is really, part of our goal is to tailor this whole plan and program to Norwood.
Oh, yeah.
And all that, then my preliminary survey is just like, it's on the drive,
Okay.
so you'll have to check it out.
So the dates we're thinking of are Wednesday, February 26th in the evening. And because we wanted them, I think people had talked about at our last big meeting, having it before March so that we could get feedback before everything's written. And then the 29th, which is a Saturday, maybe doing it in
Leap day,
the
huh?
morning. Yeah, leap day.
Oh, why not?
And then the question we had was like, do we think it's worthwhile to do something at the school for this informational thing, like at the high school? Maybe you have an insight on that.
So we are doing stuff for Earth Day right now. We're really in the planning stages right now. So we do something for Earth Week every week, and it isn't like as heavily implemented as like what we do for like say the student council things, but it's not as like publicized. But I was thinking that if we do something more like townwide, like after if you guys were talking about a survey, we could do something with like a social media challenge or something like that. We could do like how the library does for Toys for Tots. They have like a whole goal, and the town has a goal that they reach, and usually they're really successful with that. So we could do something with that, like townwide with waste reduction.
Yeah, that'd be
and
great.
Earth Week.
Yeah, so kind of aim for that week.
Yeah.
Do you think it's important, because when we were talking about the survey, to get like your classmates' feedback, because that we'd have to do that before Earth Week, like it would have to be in like February, March. Like, do you think one that they would take it, and two that it's worthwhile to get?
They would take it because we have like homeroom on Tuesdays, and we usually do like surveys and stuff on those days.
So we could
So
send it to you.
Yeah, if you talk to like the guidance office or like the main office in the high school, they would probably put that in on homeroom day. And
Because part of the reason that Joe brought up, like it'd be interesting to see like what if we got age ranges of people, like people under certain ages, like do they see it as more of an issue or whatever, and then we could use that in some of the data of like students or kids want their parents to do this or whatever that is.
yeah,
So
yeah, we could totally do that. We could also I was gonna say something.
Oh, sorry. I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I just lost my train of thought. I was thinking of maybe we could do like something where like someone comes in and talks about waste management, because there are some kids who are like super educated about it at school, but there are some kids who don't know anything at all. So we could do something about that, like after the survey that we take in school.
Yeah.
Come in during like Earth Week or something.
Like
Yeah.
So we could talk. Yeah, like an assembly or something.
Joe really wants
Because they
to
do
do it.
have those. They have those. We have those during like special like spirit weeks and stuff. We have assemblies where people come in and talk about topics. So we could have someone come in at the school.
Yeah, and you say guidance would probably be the best to start with.
Guidance or like the main office. I would talk
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
Talked about the survey. Oh, the other question we had, which I don't want to take up too much more time, was social media. If you all feel like we need a presence, because obviously that means then that somebody has to curate it and maintain it. So that's why the kind of middle ground was like, okay, we can do a hashtag thing and let people do it, but do we also want like a site, and like maybe Joe, this insight too of like, if we had metrics, where would they live? Like, do we want them on the town page? Do we want our own page? Do we want multiple places?
I think you could put them on the Sustainability Commission's webpage, and with social media, I manage the town's platform, so whatever you guys need, I can
So you could do that too?
Yeah, for example, your idea of the one new idea, we could start that tomorrow if you guys wanted to.
That's neat.
Cool. So, all right, so we can direct towards you. That's good to know.
Yeah. I think you got an answer.
Yeah.
You just don't know what yet.
Yeah. And if we
What
wanted
you're
to get
ask-
the
what
survey
ask
out
is yet.
digitally, I don't know if you guys connected or not, but I know last time you had said that like the town was looking into possibly doing like a SurveyMonkey account or something like
Yes,
that.
yeah, we have one. So,
Okay.
you guys give me the questions, I'll set up the survey, and I can start I'll put it on the website, obviously, Sustainability Commission webpage, and start blasting out on social media
Cool.
too.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just, it's just in the rough stages. If everybody wants to take a look at it, just, feedback, other questions you might have for it, like, it's pretty basic. Like I said, I don't want to burden people with it, but.
We could also present it, because our next meeting, it looks like, will be before these two.
Okay.
So if we finish it up,
Finish it up,
present it
yeah,
at
we
the
can
next
probably
one,
get it in.
and then that way we could like have it at the meetings and then send it out all at the same time.
Link it to the agenda,
What's that?
put it with the agenda?
Yeah.
Yes, okay,
So
yeah,
people,
sure.
we can add it to the agenda then. All right, so thank you. I think that's everything.
As far as the outreach sessions,
Yeah.
you know, advertising for those, booking the room.
Oh, yeah.
Peter might.
Yeah, that was the other question, is where,
Booking the room. and
Where do you think
then,
would be the
doing
best
a
place?
write-up for the newspaper and having it
Yeah.
go like the next 4 weeks in the Norwood Record. On top of social media and just word of mouth.
yeah. What do you think the best rooms would be for, I don't know how many people to expect. or-
Well,
It's gonna be packed.
well, as far as the
High school
easiest,
auditorium.
I don't know, well, like, the options are about 75 people at the Willett Room, the Civic Center, but probably about the same at the public, the police fire station, that's about 75, maybe 100. Problem with that is parking. And then library, Simone Room, 75.
Yeah.
High school, the
The GSU lecture room,
GSU,
yeah.
that's 75 down and what, 50 up? Like
Yeah, about 50
125?
up, yeah.
Yeah, we don't really want 50 up because people are yelling down stuff back
Yeah.
at school. That's a little intense when they start yelling from the
Yeah.
second, from the mezzanine. But,
Throwing
so the same
recycles
thing
in.
there. And as
So
far as
about
the-
75.
So I would think if you're gonna do, in two different locations,
Yeah, maybe
if you're gonna do,
just-
if you're thinking of doing two, do one in
Civic
downtown
Center.
here and then one at the high school. On a if the Saturday one, I would think.
Yeah, maybe Saturday. Who would I
If-
contact at the high school?
Building a grant, well, principal,
Probably, Dr. Galligan, or, just the main office. They handle most things.
probably.
You could do something with, you could have guidance send out, they send out a weekly newsletter to the parents. You can tell them, you could send it out in that, say that there's like a meeting that's happening. And as for the Simone room, if you're planning on doing
Oh,
a
yeah, 'cause
meeting
you work there.
anywhere until April, they're not free. So I checked a couple weeks ago, and they said that they're booked until April.
Yeah, so maybe we'll try
So-
Civic Center.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, now we're done.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Give this back to Bill.
Brian, are you gonna handle scheduling the rooms, or do you need some help with that?
It'd be awesome to have some help, if I'm being honest.
Joe?
I had our 4-year-old throwing up 5 times last night, so.
Good.
So what, do you wanna go to the
For
Civic
sure.
Center first?
Yeah, Civic Center on the 26th and the high school on the 29th if possible. And then 29th, like 11 a.m. or so,
Well, we'll go 10,
or 10.
yeah, or 10:30. I wouldn't go, I don't know, it seems like a Saturday, well, I don't know.
Middle of
Saturday
February, there
depends.
shouldn't be much going on.
The only competition you're gonna have is basketball,
Yeah.
and that runs all day, so don't
Yeah.
really.
Excellent, thank you, everybody.
No, thank you. Thank you. Do you need,
Yeah, I probably should get going.
Heather's gonna be real brief.
Oh, I'm doing it? Alright,
I
sure.
told you you're gonna be real brief.
What do I need to
I
know?
was gonna nominate you or David, but.
You guys sent it out in an email and
Yeah.
laid out. Like you don't even have to.
Anybody have any objections?
Look, look
at
comments on
me,
the?
yeah.
Did everyone have a chance to look at the plans that we circulated, and does anyone have any feedback in particular on the plans in terms of the format, content, whether it works with what we're trying to do here?
I like the
Okay.
format.
Okay.
That's good.
Burlington, Vermont.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in color if you look on this.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's,
That's the only thing. Natick. Right?
We like
What was the
Natick.
other?
That was the presentation, yep.
Oh, yeah, that was the presentation, Natick.
And then I
The
think
other one is something
it was
else.
Lexington and Brookline, I
Yeah.
think.
Oh,
think
Brookline I
Lexington.
have,
Yeah.
no. Brookline I have? Yeah. Brookline.
We felt like the Brookline one in particular might be like a year 2 document or something to do down the road once we have our priorities established, then we can start talking about timelines.
See, Brian, good job.
We felt like it was a little premature
About
to
any
start.
day works.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
talking about timelines right now when we don't even know exactly what it is we're gonna be working on.
There's kind of like columns, like short, long range, intermediate goals, who's gonna do it,
Yeah.
what the subject line is and things like that. That's kind of like, you know, as we really blow it out, you know, as far as that goes, it's kind of like almost timelining it, but in a spreadsheet type of format.
Yeah, for this, I mean, we're thinking pretty short and sweet, maybe like 10 to 15 pages if we can keep it that short with an introduction and then the content and then some next steps. The one thing we really liked about the Burlington, Vermont plan was they had like a page per issue if you looked into where they really got into the issues. And it had like a top line, this is our goal, and then it had some strategies and bullet points, and then it had narrative. And it just seemed like it was really easy to navigate. Someone could say, I care a lot about this issue, and they could go to that page and see everything they needed to know about that issue right there, rather than some of the plans that, you know, you would really have to use the table of contents, and it was just all block text. We didn't feel like there was a very good chance of things like that being read by a large percentage of the residents, so.
Yeah. Well, Burlington, Vermont, it started out with the goal, the format, goal, strategy, and then the
details.
explanation there. So it's kind of like, as Heather was saying, it's like one page for each one.
Most people stop reading after a page.
Yeah. And
Well,
pictures and
plus-
color and.
plus
I
everybody's
liked
gonna read
that.
the
It
whole-
felt more like a
everybody's gonna
book
read
than
the
like a
whole type anyway.
PowerPoint
Yeah.
presentation. It
Yeah.
just seemed like more interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you could flip through, you didn't have to, you know, you didn't have to read the
whether or
whole
not I
thing
would
front to back, you could.
Protect against the
pick it
flu
up.
or from
Yeah.
terrorism.
Again,
I thought it was a
2
good pick.
pages.
You had a
30
particular
resources,
interest?
2 pages, and they stop
Yeah,
reading.
because I'm
them,
always
walking
going
out
to the
pages out.
subcommittees. It's like, I don't want to read anyone
It's
else's
like, they're like, they don't-
stuff, so you can really focus in
People won't
on,
read that.
you know, this is the energy section, this is
And they don't.
on
Yeah.
recycling, whatever it happens to be.
But what that means is that each of the subcommittees will have a page to convey the information they want to convey. And again, this is probably intended to be pretty high level, so, you know, we don't need to get into every single one of our plans for the next 5 years around certain topics. I think this is more just to introduce the town to what we want to accomplish, and then we can develop more specific plans from there. Is there anything else to add?
Thanks, guys.
Sounds good.
The other theme that kept coming up, and I think it was from Burlington, and I meant to say something to Brian about his presentation. They tended to focus, like, this is the problem, defining the problem globally, and then this is how it affects the US, how it affects Vermont, and then how it affects Burlington. We could do the same thing, you know, how it affects Norwood, because we're trying to sell this to residents in the community, get buy-in from businesses and residents. And he had that, excuse me, that slide of the ozone. But if you then go to, hey, well, this is what the Public Works Department has done, you know, in terms of what we can do as a world, what we can do as a community. So play off those two, so that theme of let's define the problem globally and then bring it down locally, and how we can impact it and how we can make things better. I think every plan that we read that sort of said, hey, this is the good news. It was better than, oh my God, microplastics, what are we gonna do? Important to know about them, but what have we done and what can we do?
Yeah, and I think that having that perspective also helps people to feel like if they do their one new thing,
Right.
they really are making a difference in that bigger picture, because they have a sense of, you know, all the different levels that you can look at this from. Yeah.
Quick, you can make a crosswalk. I can hear that thing ticking off here.
Oh, I just saw there was, the page you're on just had like a graph, so, you know, to the extent we can use graphs and charts and, you know, present things in a visual way rather than a narrative way is probably going to be helpful, and really focusing on the data and the stats and the metrics, so that, you know, we're backing up why we need to do these things with real numbers.
Are you gonna try to present projected goals as well in your data sets and stuff?
I think you have to put a number on
You have
it.
to put a 5-year plan, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
have to say something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like this goal here is reduce community-wide vehicle miles traveled by 10% per capita by 2025. I'm not sure.
Can you measure
Personally,
that?
the metric.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gotta measure that. You know, so certain things, you know, I don't know.
I don't know if we're gonna be in a position to do that
Right.
for this, for like the next few months.
I mean, goals are, to me, like, keep it simple for the, you know, we want people to buy in first. Okay, what about, you know, add bike lanes to 5 new, you know, to any street in Norwood. We don't have any, but, you know, something like that. You know, make bike lanes a mile radius from schools, something like that. You know, things that are very concrete and very simple to people visualize. You know, we're not saying to make, you know, we want 50 miles of bike trails in Norwood in the next year. That's, yeah, okay, you know, but we can visualize, okay, going to the Cleveland School, having a bike lane a mile, you know, down Nichols Street, you know, something like that, you know, something a little more, you know, tangible than just.
We'll have to get buy-in from the decision makers on that stuff too, though,
Right,
because I
you
mean
can't
we
just put
have no
arbitrary
authority
rules out, yeah.
to
Well,
do
that's
anything.
one, that's one thing to float too at the first couple of meetings, input sessions.
Well, I think that was, when we talked, that was
Yeah.
one of the things was trying to get some information back for people, like what are they interested in? Because we're gonna start talking about what the problems are, right? So, you know, I think at some point people are gonna expect that if we're talking about the problems, we're gonna have suggestions or we're gonna have goals around those problems, but we need to get some of their feedback on
Right.
what's attainable.
Well, you know, what's foremost on your mind, you know, as
Right.
far as I go, is it a plastic
Right.
bag ban? Is
Well,
it,
that's
is it
the-
a bike lane? Is
That's
it-
the open-ended question.
That's what the survey, that's like the whole thing, is
That's-
to try to get a
it's-
feel for what should we focus, what should all of us focus on as far
Yeah.
as the efforts in the subcommittees go. Cause I mean, like, you know, Mark Ryan was just saying, you know, he kind of delineated our entire solid waste plan, but we're capable of doing what, you know, the walls within our, you know, the boundaries of our capabilities, really. So we just have to know.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if you guys were putting in like, you know, at least, you know, relatively generic kind of goals, you know, like, oh, we're reducing carbon emissions by like 50% by 2030 or something like that.
No, I mean, that's
It's
I know it's
ambitious.
I know that's ambitious, but it's just for an
Oh,
example,
I-
is what I'm
I
saying, you know,
we're all trying to,
if it's, you know,
Put our arms around
too
numbers.
overarching or not.
I just
the whole thing was trying to get the framework done
Right.
first.
Right, right.
The outline of it, and then how are we gonna fill it in?
Right.
And so that's what we've been kind of focusing on, is trying to find a framework that worked. Burlington, Vermont one kind of hit a few
Yeah.
people quickly and seemed pretty simple as far as that goes. And you know, and it's like bits and pieces from other things look good, from others, you know, some of the goals and some of the plans look, you know, something that we can, you know, use, like Burlington, Vermont, it's a whole bunch of things on agriculture. Yeah, we're not going, you know, we're not doing
Right.
dairy farming up here, and we're not doing
Yeah.
too much agriculture, you know,
Mm.
so these things, you know, I ran into when we did the CPC, you know, I looked at Gloucester, and a lot of coastline issues there. I try to figure out a coastline, a new pond, I guess, I don't think there's.
So does each subcommittee have an action to start filling out their goal, like their slide related to the subcommittee? Are we
Sooner the
at
better.
that point
The
yet?
sooner the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're meeting, you know, do it.
Right.
That's
Keep
the
it to
purpose.
one page.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah, and
within that
1.5 by
framework,
11
aim for
page.
something.
Within the Burlington framework?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to create a new Google Doc, like their Google's version of Word, you can put it in the shared drive, and you can work off of like a one-page doc, and then our subcommittee will go ahead and put it in this sort of a format with some pictures and
Yeah,
such.
don't feel the need to do
Goal
any
strategy.
formatting.
Okay,
And
so yeah, we'll
even-
just take, okay.
Yeah, and even if I don't think we need to start actually like drafting like the narratives right now, but it would help to have some outlines done.
Mhm.
And then it may make sense for our subcommittee to do the drafting and then send it around for review, so it's like in a consistent voice.
Right.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could kind of just go ahead with the framework, goal, strategy, and then, you know, you don't have to write the narrative now, but start with a goal, maybe strategize some ways of doing it, and then we'll, you know, start writing all that. Because for a town meeting, we won't need to, you know,
Are we
I think what we're showing, correct me if I'm wrong, but with the Natick plan, it was kind of just more of it's a 9-page PowerPoint and doesn't, we can,
That's just a presentation, though. That's not
Yeah, I know.
It's just a presentation to the board of select people.
yeah, I know, but it's cleaning and greening, our energy supply, reducing vehicle miles. I mean, that's all they're doing is just showing, so they're not really putting a lot of meat on it either.
Right, but our goal, just to clarify, is to have the plan to hand out at town meeting. We will do a
Correct.
presentation.
I think the
Also,
presentation.
that will be pretty, high level
Right.
simplified, but
If you're really interested. read
we
the
need to
plan.
have the plan ready to go.
Yeah, the plan is,
Yeah.
to be printed on the front table in an electronic format for town meeting members and community members to pick up. The presentation at town meeting, I mean, can you even use the projector, or isn't it just kind of
Sure.
stand up and?
Well,
or
I
you
mean,
can use the projector?
you might put like 5 slides in it, and, something like that, who we are, what we did, and, and then show them the front page of the plan and say, go at it. We don't have to,
Mhm.
I mean, what we're gonna say in front of town meeting isn't gonna be, we're not gonna go, on
Yes.
page 57,
It's
we're not
sort
doing
of
that.
a quick who we are,
Right.
what we've been working on,
Yeah.
here it is. It's like 30 seconds almost.
Yeah, and maybe highlight a few things, a few goals, something like that.
I'm gonna entice people to read the plan.
Mhm.
We'll have to
Just
come up with
enough
something
to
really
get them.
Oh, we can, yeah, just enough, yeah, we'll just tick them off
The
enough.
intrigue.
Yeah.
Yeah, tick them off enough that they, they said that?
Yeah.
I have to go back and look at it. Besides that,
So on the solid waste subcommittee, I know we've kind of broken it down even further, but it's just one subcommittee or is it multiple subcommittees?
Oh, I thought
I've
it was
been
It's multiple.
It's multiple ones.
Because I know I'm solo on recycling, but it
Okay.
doesn't seem like there needs to be a recycling subcommittee after that conversation.
It's like, why bother?
So-
Nobody wants to recycle
If somebody
anyway.
wants to pick me in, on their dodgeball
I'm
team,
not
yeah.
I'm not a compost, but
I just feel like they're all really interconnected though.
Yeah, I know,
Like I think I've put down for waste reduction, but that is really tied into recycling and composting.
It sounds like it should just be one
I
subcommittee.
think it should be one because we're gonna
Yeah.
have to come up with one page for the plan. It's not.
Right.
It's not going to be individual pages for solid waste.
Maybe it could be 2.
Well, it could be 2, but,
Yeah, if
but we're
that's
not
like
going
the
to have
biggest
4
one,
for solid
then-
waste and
Because
then
it
1 for
really
everything
big.
else.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just like I said, just from speaking or listening to Mark, everything is intertwined on that.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And,
Yeah.
it's just even the fact that there's a recycling subcommittee when we're not even trying to recycle so much as trying to reduce, or reduce contamination, increase
Yeah.
it sounds like it just be one subcommittee.
Maybe it can be
Then I'm
one
just by myself,
subcommittee
I
and
don't have to do
then
it by myself.
because I think it's a big group of us, we
Mhm.
can maybe each take on different pieces
Right,
of the research. But I think it makes sense to coordinate as one subcommittee.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Who's
Fix
that?
that
Who's on
Google
that?
Doc.
Yeah,
I don't know who's on that. I know I'm in one.
I need to actually read
I
it.
need
Some-
that
Yeah, that's right. I think everybody's.
I might
it's
tattoo
we're all
that
on it.
sheet onto my forehead, like
Yeah,
I
we're all
don't
on it,
remember
so we gotta
it.
revisit
It's
it.
kind of almost like a committee meeting.
We can get some volunteers to get off it. I'll be happy to step back off.
Do you have the chart of who's on what subcommittee?
Of course I do. Just like you do.
You have a lot of pages there, Chairman.
Yeah, well, you should carry a few more. Don't look at me. I did, and then I threw a whole bunch of stuff on top of
Hey
it.
Joe, could you click on reset screen share again?
I know it's electronic, yeah.
Let's see.
Some of the stuff.
You pulling it up, Joe, on the screen? Do you
Yeah.
have it? Thank you.
Well, we get it before.
Get your camera.
Really
Take a picture of it.
Yeah. Take a
Oh,
picture.
there we go.
Again?
There we go.
Ah. There we go.
Where am I? Oh, can you scroll
Guess
up?
guess what
Joe.
column you are? Oh,
There you're
Oh,
so.
I
Peter,
am on
Emily, Joe,
Compost.
John, David. So pretty much everyone's
I'm
on
there
it, right?
too. I'm just in the sub.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, your
Yeah,
ex
there's-
didn't make the
there you
top
go.
somehow. Okay. So
Brian
That's
and
pretty much
Mark.
everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone's on it, yeah.
Brian and Mark kind of,
No, it was everyone else. Like, wow.
yeah, we were the last one to make a choice. Well, all right, I guess I don't need to do that one. You good. So,
All right, great. Sustainability subcommittees, also the waste management.
also.
just about.
Except Mark and Brian.
Right, yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Cool. Well, I think of the other people composting.
Well, I would just go.
No,
by-
I think just
I
consolidating
just,
makes sense.
Cumulative of, we just say, anybody's, you might specialize in certain parts of that. That's all. John's gonna deal with straws.
Well, Corey and I are gonna deal with plastic bag ban.
Yeah. I also wrote a letter to Duncan asking them about their
Several.
use of plastic straws, and I'm yet to hear an answer, but
You should also reach out to is that Daddy's Dairy.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
use styrofoam and like really
Yeah.
flimsy plastic spoons. I was
Yeah.
there the other day and I was like, this is room for improvement.
yeah.
They
Did you
shredded
bring
that
your
out.
own
Nice way to put it.
It's just-
You didn't bring your own spoon? How
I'm
dare
going.
you didn't use a
I'm going to
cone?
now
You're supposed to use a
because
cone.
the spoons were so flimsy.
You're supposed to use
I
a
was like
cone,
digging
man.
with my
Yeah.
thumb.
What is it with the plastic cup and the spoon?
We want more plastic in that stuff. Just kidding.
Yeah, also
So,
spot,
okay.
because a lot of, that's like a really big spot for like high schoolers and middle schoolers to go to.
Yeah.
Everyone goes there.
Yeah. And do
Yeah.
they just do plastic cups?
Yeah, they
Plastic
do
straws?
plastic everything, yeah.
With styrofoam.
They just
cups.
make you wait so long, the plastic decomposes. Sorry, I bad mouthing you up with this.
So do we need
It's
to
so late.
reduce?
It's so late.
Reduce the
My
number on the
favorite is
committee
their
now?
15-minute
Reduce the
design.
Oh my
I'm like, no one is
that
going
makes no
for
sense.
15 minutes.
It takes me 15 minutes to get in the door.
There's a lot of people. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need to reduce the amount of people? So
No.
who's on energy? So 3 on
There's
energy,
3 on
4 on
energy,
public health, 3
David,
on
Brian,
resiliency.
Yeah.
And can you scroll down just a little, Joe? Is that it for? So education's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably try to take a couple people onto energy and resiliency.
Yeah.
Break it up a little bit. Like 7 people on solid waste.
Okay.
Well, I'm pushing for pay as you throw, so I need to be there. So that everyone can yell at me.
They take the heat.
I mean, I can.
Everybody, go home and think about it.
I can step off of the solid waste. I mean, I'm going to be working a lot with Corey on plastics from an outreach standpoint.
And where are you gonna go to?
And what's that?
What committee do you wanna go to?
Well, I'm part of the I'm running the sustainability plan committee, so
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, think about that if you, otherwise, it's 8:45 here, so I just think we need
Yeah.
to.
I'll get off solid. I'll get off solid waste if you want. If we need to get people's heads off.
Well, I don't
It's up to
think
you
so.
guys.
I mean, I don't think there's a
You can
problem
vote
with
me
too
off.
many, right? No.
Yeah, but the tables.
We need good input.
The tables at Nappers only
It's
hold
not,
4.
it's not the, it's
How
not
are we
the
gonna
quantity
meet
of
this
people, it's the
up?
quality of the input.
So we have
6
to
people.
motion to adjourn?
No, well, we just gotta talk about when's
Oh,
the next
still
meeting,
going,
that's all.
okay.
I think the 10th is great, whatever date that was,
The
right?
10th?
Because the
Monday,
following week is,
School vacation week.
School
And then
vacation
the
week.
holiday,
So
that's
the
the
10th.
holiday
So the
too, so
10th.
Yeah.
that's a
February
double
10th.
whammy.
yeah, and we want to start our outreach work on the
Yeah.
following week, right, the week of the 26th, so we wanted to have a meeting before that, which would be helpful.
February 10th?
Sounds good.
Great.
Sound.
2 weeks.
Alright,
Right, well, you've had
2
a
weeks
month
from
off.
today.
You've had 6 weeks off now, yeah. 6 weeks.
Like
We
I've
could
had a
meet
meeting
like
once a week. I've
crazy,
had a
yeah.
meeting once a week for like a month.
Motion
Oh.
to adjourn.
motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.